So this is the birth story of my second child. I'll start off by telling you the plans that I had. So I wanted to give birth in a local birth centre. It was lovely, newly refurbished, almost kind of purpose built. Had like on a separate site, obviously midwife led. Birth pools in every room and all that kind of thing. I'd done it once before. I was low risk, so I was up for having, a really nice natural birth. So in my preparation, I have this kind of online prenatal membership. So I'm doing yoga and meditation and practicing my breathing. I'm being as active as possible. I'm journaling every night. Doing my breathing, trying to manifest my ideal birth, which is like a quick, natural, calm water birth. So I say I'm going to have this baby on a sunny Sunday morning. And then I imagine my contraction starting at 4:00. And then I think, I'll have her by 10. That would be amazing. So I think my 40-week is on a Tuesday. So the Saturday before comes around, I'm feeling a bit anxious because obviously it's Sunday the next day. Thinking, could it be tomorrow? So that morning comes, goes, no sign, the day passes. I get to my 40 weeks, have an appointment at some point that week. I'm offered a sweep. I don't want it. I booked in for one on the Saturday. The Saturday comes around and I cancel it. I don't really like the thought of anything kind of unnatural, anything to speed the baby up. And I wasn't in a kind of place where I thought it was really important. I was still relatively comfortable. So on that Saturday night in the day, I'm active. I'm at the park with my daughter. I'm doing hill walks, which where you just basically walking up and down a hill. Helps with like your pelvis positioning. The evening comes around, I'm doing my relaxation routine, I'm journaling, and I just remember looking out the window and thinking, tomorrow, it's got to be the day tomorrow. I go to sleep eventually. I wake up in the night around 4 when I check my phone, and I really thought, something was going to have happened by now. I go to the toilet, I come back, close my eyes, and then bam, I'm getting this like really strong pain. Sorry if you don't like the use of the word pain. I know some people change the vocab, but I still use it because for me, I can't really find a better descriptor for it. But what I did instead was that I've kind of done a bit of work on reframing the word pain rather than changing the word. Anyway, so it's super intense and like holding onto the wall on the side of the bed. And I'm like, whoa, I don't remember it being this bad last time. And I'm just thinking like, pull yourself together, Laura. This is only the beginning, come on, get a grip. So I get up, I want to keep myself busy and stay active. That worked for me last time in terms of progressing the labour. I obviously have my bag mainly packed, but I just have in mind a few other things that I want to grab. So I'm thinking of those and I'm thinking, I need a bag. I can't think of like a bag that I can put it in. I don't know why. Anyway, but I'm like feeling like I'm not getting that much time to be able to think about stuff or to be able to pack stuff, because like the pressure or the pain is like pretty much always there, and I'm struggling to stay relaxed. I'm struggling to do my breathing, and I'm just like telling myself off because I'm just thinking, come on, Laura, you're prepared for this and you just need to chill out and breathe properly. And I'm thinking, come on, Laura, breathe. Anyway, so it gets to about 6, so 2 hours later, and I wake up Albin and I say, I think something's happening. And he like leaps out of bed and we go downstairs and he gets me some cereal. And I think he's the one that calls my parents because the plan is that they'll come over. My mum will come with us to the birth centre and my dad will stay and look after my daughter. So I'm like leaning over the sofa. The next I call is the birth centre. And for some reason, I still can't fathom why they would need to do this. But she's like wanting to get every detail. And I'm not talking about my experience. She's just like, get my full name, fair enough, my date of birth, fair enough, but like my contact number, my address, and like all this information. And I'm like really struggling to tell her. And like, I was just like frustrated by this phone call. So I'm waiting for my parents to get here. Oh no, I tell her I'm waiting for my parents to get here and then I'm going to come in. And she's like, okay, like fair enough, come in if you think you're ready. So after that conversation, I feel wet, my waters are breaking. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't have like another outfit prepared. I just had planned to go to the birth centre in this outfit. It wasn't like a fancy outfit or anything. But, so I'm like, Albin goes and gets me some new pants. I put them on and then there's more water. And then I realized that at that moment, because the pressure is so strong, the downward pressure and the pain, that I'm not going to go anywhere. So I say to Albin, run me a bath. She's coming. We're not going anywhere. And he's like, no, it's only 10 minutes away. Like, we got to go. We can get there. It's fine. And I'm like, no, we're not going anywhere. She's coming now. Anyway, and downstairs, we just bought a new rug actually downstairs. I'm like, he's going to kill me if like I get stuff on this new rug. He's not, but that's what's going through my head. Like, I want to get off this rug. Get upstairs. I run the bath myself. And yeah, the water's running and I'm just kind of like stuck in the bathroom. My parents come in, arriving, casually. I don't know if it was like half an hour, 40 minutes later. They'd had a shower and stuff like that because they'd just be thinking that we'd be making our way to the birth centre. But they're just confronted with the news that the baby is coming right now. So like I say, my plan was to have a water birth. I've always wanted one. I didn't get it the first time because there wasn't time. And I'm like, I want to get in the bath. I don't want to fill water. And by the way, it's just like a standard single bath in a pretty small bathroom. So I managed to get one leg in. And my mum comes up and she's like, no, Laura, you can't get in the bath. Like, you need to get onto the bed where I can help you. I had a friend who had given birth about 3 weeks before, and she'd sounds like a funny word, but she'd recommended this position that she'd been in to deliver her baby, where she was kind of like upright on the bed, propped up on the bed. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. So kind of on my knees, propped up with pillows. So my mum and Albin were fetching the pillows, and obviously they've got the midwife on the phone who's leading and advising and things and cheering me on. But it was just on a phone, so it wasn't really like, I didn't feel like her presence so much. It didn't really matter. And then they have they call the ambulance on the other side, which you do if you're having kind of like a very fast unexpected birth in an unexpected place. So they have the call handler on the other line. Anyway, so I can hear the midwife asking my mum, can you see anything? And she would like check, have a look, and she'd be like, no, can't see anything. And I was like thinking, surely you can see something. You must be able to see something. And in between, she's saying, when the baby arrives, you're going to get a warm, wet towel and then get a warm, dry towel. And my mum is like, freaking out and like not taking in the information. I just remember saying, like, just tell me the order. Is it warm towel, wet towel, dry towel? Anyway, eventually, my mum says she can see the baby coming. She could see her head, and then she crowned, and obviously I have no access to any painkillers, so I can feel everything that's happening. That crowning bit like hurts a lot. Yeah, that's definitely the most intense part, but it's not really like you can do anything about it, and you're so close at that point to the baby coming that I don't think like it's very short-lived anyway. It's the best way to put it. Anyway, yeah, so after the crowning, obviously next is a head, so compared to the crowning, that feels easier. And then we waited, and it literally felt like the longest time between that contraction that got her head out, where she was just chilling there. I wasn't getting the next contraction, and her head was just out. And I was actually like quite comfortable. Like I wasn't like didn't feel any pain at that point. I was just thinking like, I hope this next contraction comes and like we get her out and she's not just like stuck there. Anyway, after several minutes, I do get, I guess, the next contraction and she comes out. It's sometime between about 7:10 and 7:15. So about 3 hours after the first time that I felt pain. So 3 hours of active labour altogether. So my mum catches her, passes her to me, and that's when we meet. And she's loud and she's crying and she looks perfect. And I don't feel any sense of, obviously there's a bit of shock, but it just feels right. It feels normal and I don't feel worried or anything. So shortly after that, the first responder arrives. So this is the first kind of professional to come in. And then the ambulance team, and then there's a couple of midwives that come as well. And obviously they do all their checks and everything is looking good. I'm looking very exposed on the bed because I'm like covered in an array of different towels, like mainly like hand towels that aren't really covering me up right. But it's still, I just try and enjoy that for those first moments, that golden hour. So yeah, my mum had watched a lot of Call the Midwife, but I don't think she ever expected really to be one. We're about a year on now, so I think she's just about recovered. So yeah, I don't know if I manifested the date or time or whether that was intuition. I suppose that was the only bit that was like to plan. But like the nature of birth, well, that is the nature of birth, that there's always someone else playing that game, and that's your baby. So it's kind of, you know, a combination of both you and your baby and what your baby wants. And yeah, obviously it's a great story, so I love to share it, but I also, you know, I love to just like spread the message of how beautiful birth can be, and that it's not something that can be that it's not something that should be feared. You know, obviously we know that things can go wrong. That's awful. That's tragic when it happens. But every day, you know, every day we go out, we get in cars, we drive at high speed, you know, something can go wrong then as well, but we don't often get fearful of getting in our cars. You know, you don't approach driving with that same anxiety that some people approach birth, because of all the kind of stories that we know about it and things that we know about it. So if you are pregnant or you're planning to give birth at some point, the best thing that you can do is work on reducing your fear, and there's lots of ways you can do this, and lots of professionals that you can seek out help from, especially midwives and other birth professionals, and that will give you the best chance of having like an amazing birth experience. and because that's something you can have, and it's also something that you deserve to have. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening, and sending lots of positive vibes to you. Bye.